Hello everyone. So in this video I want to share how to set up a Raspberry Pi headless, and when I say headless, I'm going to share things that will help you, instructions that will help you set up Raspberry Pi truly headless. So basically you can set up Raspberry Pi, use it without using any monitor or keyboard. So all you need, you need just your Raspberry Pi and connect it to power. That is it. And the model that I used is, I believe, model B, I guess, something like that. So basically it has 1 GB RAM, 4 USB ports, and Wi-Fi, of course, along with Bluetooth. So the very first thing that you need to do is make sure that you go to the Raspberry Pi website and you figure out the version that, the image that you need to download. So basically I use Raspbian, and I use Raspbian because I wanted to keep things simple because there is a lot of information. So just make sure that you know the correct version that you need to download. So just go to the website, raspberrypi.com, and go to the download section, and then of course you can, based on of course your model, you can then figure out what version is compatible. So I use the light version, the 64-bit, and I think that is the latest version which is supported. And I'm of course using the light version because light version is without any graphical user interface. And I of course want to keep things simple. I don't really need graphical user interface. I will be using this Raspberry Pi as my CCTV security system. Let us see how it goes. I will of course share I'll share what I'm able to do. I'm not really sure if I would be using Motion Pi. I don't really think so. I don't really want to use any other external. I just want to keep things simple. My preference is to use FFmpeg and then stream it. That is it, because that would give me more control. And of course you can learn a lot. Now once you download the image, you need to make sure that you extract it. So you will probably get something like .img.xz, and you need, I guess on Arch Linux, you can use unxz to extract it. If you don't have it, you can do it. You can just download it using Pacman. And the next thing is that you need to insert your SD card, and of course flash the image. Now, good thing about ThinkPad X220 is that you have a dedicated slot for SD card, the big one. And I usually keep the adapter with me, like it is always inserted. So whenever I need maybe to insert the the micro version, like the micro SD card, I guess, so just use the adapter. So that is why you need like a ThinkPad, any computer like ThinkPad or maybe ThinkPad X220, because there is a dedicated slot. So once you insert your SD card, just run this command, and when you run this command, make sure you type in the exact number or the exact device name, which is usually for SD cards it is MMC BLK0, and make sure it is correct, otherwise you will do some damage to your usual SD card which you might be using to store your images or videos. But make sure that this is correct, and just simply run the command. I'm using DD, I'm not really using H. There are a lot of ways of doing it. I prefer, of course, using command line utilities. Then once this is done, it will of course take maybe, because the light version is only 300 MB, I guess, something like that. Once it is done, simply it won't take more than 3-4 minutes, I guess, depending upon your computer. Then mount your boot. So basically, once the SD card is flashed, you will get two partitions, P1 and P2. Mount the P1. I think it is the boot one, I guess, and mount it anywhere you want on your computer, and then you need to copy few files to this particular boot directory or boot partition. So the first thing that you need to do, because we are trying to do a true headless setup, we just want this SD card or this Raspberry Pi to be connected to the power, and then we should be able to log into it using SSH remotely. So you need to create a file called user conf. And by the way, The new version, the bullseye version of Raspbian, not Raspberry Pi, Raspbian, it doesn't really come with the default Pi and Raspberry username and password. So you need to create a password, and that is what we are doing in this particular file. So userconf is the file that you need to create. Either you can create it manually, or so basically what you need to do, you need to basically have in this file your username followed by your encrypted password, which you can generate using OpenSSL. So basically, let us say your password is password, which I believe is not really a great password. So you will get some random string which you need to copy along with this format. Let us say your username colon that string, and that is it. But because we like to do things, we are lazy, we want to do things quickly, so you can do it all in one go. So you can basically use this, so basically it is just something that I prefer, do it nicely, efficiently. Maybe one day I'll probably combine each and everything, and maybe I'll have like a script to create this image. Anyways, that is I'm not really going to create Raspbian images every day, but what you can do here is basically generate the encrypted password, then concatenate it with the username followed by colon, and then move it to create this file if it is not there, and output write the script, the string to this particular file, and that is it. The next thing that you need to do, you need to make sure that the SSH is enabled. So this can be done by creating one file, empty file called SSH. That is it. So yeah, that is it, nothing else. And finally, we need to make sure that we have a file called wpa_supplicant.conf. And in this file, you need to have these lines. Country is important. Make sure you know your country code. Check in the documentation. If it is US, I guess it is US. In UK, it is GB. And earlier in this particular file, I had a comment. So this is not really going to work. So you need to make sure that there is no comment. I think so, because otherwise everything was working, but not my Wi-Fi. So just make sure you enter your SSID, your Wi-Fi name, and your password. And once and that is it, by the way. Just insert the SD card. Unmount your SD card from the laptop, insert it in your Raspberry Pi, and then of course boot your Raspberry Pi. And within like 3-4 minutes, I guess, you should be able to log in. So when you log in, you can actually find your IP. By default, I believe your Raspberry Pi's host name would be Raspberry Pi, which you can change later on, or use the IP address, not name, and that is it. And yeah, you're done now. What you can also do is you can then, once you log into your Raspberry Pi, run this utility called raspi-config. And I didn't really change a lot, but I think I increased the GPU memory to 256, which I'm not really sure if I need to do it or not. I guess not, but I just increased it to 256. There is also an option to enable legacy cameras, which I don't really think I'll do. I need to figure out, because I'm still trying to figure out how to make my camera work. As I mentioned, I want to use FFmpeg, and it is not working yet, but I'm trying. I don't really want to use any utility like Motion, because I like to do things on my own. I want to set up my own thing using nothing but scripts. Let us see how it goes. And important thing, when you boot your Raspberry Pi, the userconf file and the SSH file, and basically these three files will be removed. So the WPA_supplicant file will be moved to /etc/WPA_supplicant directory with, of course, the username and password, your Wi-Fi name and Wi-Fi password. Your SSH file will be removed, and I guess your SSH will be enabled, and your userconf file, of course, will be removed. And yeah, that is it. Simple, right? And I want to make a quick video because in this video I don't really want to walk you through the entire process of how to do these things. It is more about the problems that I faced, because it took me a while to figure out, and I did this after like many. I think last time I installed Raspbian was maybe 7, 8. I don't know. I think I don't even remember. So things are slightly different now, and if you're trying to set up Raspberry Pi truly headless without any monitor or keyboard, this will help you. And that is it. That is all. That is all I wanted to share and talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. Thank you very much. Bye bye.